Hey guys, so with the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta about a week away is presumably when he's going to come out, because I think in the past 2 years we've had Dokkan Fest's release on Halloween Day, being October 31st, and I'm recording this video on October 24th, so I believe this guy's a week away. I figured I would go ahead and make another one of these unit sort of prediction slash concept videos. It really can't be a prediction because it's impossible to predict what this guy's going to look like, right? But in terms of a concept of what I would like to see, this is pretty much what we have here. So first things first, you guys can see his name is in purple, which signifies that I would like him to be int type. There's various reasons why I think that should be the case. With the first one, take a look at the Shadow Dragon Saga category. There really isn't like a big time int unit on this category. I would say the best int unit obviously is Oceanus. She's really the only notable int type unit on this category. AGL, we have Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. By the way, this guy's probably going to get his EZA fairly soon. For Tech, we have the old Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. They would not dare make this new guy Tech as well. Otherwise, this guy would pretty much just be completely invalidated. We also have the full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, who's also Tech. Again, int, we just talked about. The only one noteworthy is Oceanus. STR, we have the STR Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, as well as this guy who's eventually going to get an EZA too. And then for physical, we have the Omega Shenron, who is not great, right? This Omega Shenron is definitely not great. I would say this strength Omega Shenron over here, by the way, also another good STR unit for this category, is definitely better than this guy at this point, post EZA. But this guy's still decently good. The only real leader we have for this category, I would say, at this point is this physical Omega Shenron. So the only real typing which needs a buff on this category is int. And that's why I went ahead and made him an int type. So here we go. This is the official art, by the way. This is literally taken straight from VJump. So that's why they have all of this text here and stuff. So there we go. So first things first, leader skill. So I have sort of two different leader skills listed here. The reason being is because I feel like there's two distinct paths that they can go down for this character. The first one I have is Super Saiyan 4 category Ki plus 4, HP attack and defense plus 170%, or Super Class Ki plus 3, HP attack and defense plus 120%. So this leader skill is more so banking on the fact that they're going to have this guy introduce the Super Saiyan 4 category for Heroes coming up next month. And we do know for sure, it is confirmed, that we are going to get a Heroes collab in November like we usually do every year, but it seems kind of weird that they're releasing this guy like right now, right before the Heroes collab. And generally the units the Dokkan Fest units that release at this point in time, they kind of correlate with the Heroes collab. Like Goku Black, the Ink Goku Black was a time traveler category leader. He was a time traveler category leader because all the Heroes units are all in the time travelers category. But the year before that, we had Super Saiyan 3 Bardock, who was a Super Saiyan 3 category leader, and we got, I believe, 2 new Super Saiyan 3 category units in that Heroes collab. So, you know, for this guy, if they really wanted to go down this path of doing a Super Saiyan 4 category, the reason why I made it such a ridiculous leader skill is because it would be very, very niche, right? There's not going to be that many Super Saiyan 4s in the game. Like, we have this guy already. We have this guy already. This guy's also a separate name, and then Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and that's literally it. Like, there's no other Super Saiyan 4s. So they could go ahead and release somebody like Super Saiyan 4 Gohan, Super Saiyan 4 Broly, Zeno Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Zeno Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. Like, there's a lot of Super Saiyan 4s that they could release that's tied with the Heroes, brand. But I don't know if they're going to release all of them at once. So that's why I gave him a secondary leader skill of Super Class, Ki plus 3 HP attack and defense plus 120%, to sort of give this guy more, a wider variety of units to be able to be used alongside this category, Super Saiyan 4, because of how small it would end up being. Other option is to just go down a more traditional path here with the Shadow Dragon Saga or Kamehameha category. Now, there's really two ways they could do this. The first one is to just make this a 4 key, 150 across the board for stats, just like they did with the Angel Golden Frieza, the one we just got on JP, the physical transforming one. But the reason why I didn't do that, and the reason why I made this 3 key and HP attack and defense HP and attack plus 170, defense plus 130, is because the Shadow Dragon Saga still doesn't have a 170 leader skill. The only real leader for this category to this day is still this Omega Shenron, who's a 3-key 150 across the board leader skill, because this was the first real category leader Dokkan Fest unit in the game, alongside this Tech Gogeta. So, I think it's about time this category did get a 170% leader skill, and then the Kamehameha category, I threw that in there as well because they only have one true Dokkan Fest leader in the HGL LR Gohan, and it's about time they get a second one just to give people more of an option. Like, if you open your friends list, one of the most ran friend leaders is HGL Gohan. Like, everybody runs him as the friend leader. So this would give people another unit to run if they wanted to, have the Kamehameha category as their friend leader. So those are the two options I have. It would be either one of these I would go with. Depends on, again, if they go down the path of wanting this guy to be more tied in with the Heroes collab, they would go with this leader skill here. Or if they wanted this guy to just be a standalone, really good leader for the Shadow Dragon Saga and Kamehameha team, it would be this leader skill here. So that's the leader skills. All right, let's talk about the super attack. So I went with the 100 times Big Bang 100 times Big Bang Kamehameha, which is the same super attack as the tech one. Raises attack and defense for 1 turn, which is not that impressive. But then he also has a chance of performing a critical hit plus 15% for 1 turn. Now this is similar to how they have the, actually should pull him up, the Tech LR Goku. Let me see if I could grab him. And his EZA on JP, as you can see, hopefully they have the super attack effect down here. Do they? Yeah. So his 18-key super attack, which is the Super Spirit Bomb, once he's EZA'd, it actually gives a 10% chance of performing a crit. And that's the first time we've seen something like that on a super attack effect. So I was thinking they could do the same thing for this guy. But him being a TUR means that he could potentially get an additional with this, and he would get a 30% chance to crit for 1 turn if you got an additional super with this guy. So that's the reason why this first portion is not super crazy. But then this one, I mean, if you get 2 supers, you're getting an extra 30% chance to crit for 1 turn, which is ridiculous. Actually, this is a typo. Hit. There we go. All right. Moving on to the passive. So I sort of went with like a Super Saiyan 4 theme here with a bunch of 4s in it. So the passive skill is attack and defense plus 44% at the start of the turn. Gain an additional attack and defense plus 44% when launching a super attack. Gain an additional attack and defense plus 44% when collecting 4 or more key spheres. And then gain an additional attack and defense plus 44% for 4 turns after receiving an attack. And all enemies attack minus 44% when facing 4 or more enemies. So just a lot of 4s, right? this passive isn't really super like crazy or innovative, or just it's kind of just like there. But I think it does work well because of the fact that this is the start of turn, and every other instance of him getting a 44% attack and defense raise is calculated in the turn, which means that it's going to be separately multiplied into this first portion. So, on super attack, then he gets hit, and then he also collects 4 more key spheres. So this guy's going to be hitting ridiculously hard. He's going to have a million bajillion defense. And then in the instance where you're fighting 4 or more enemies, he's going to lower their attack by 44%. And the reason why I did this is because if we take a look at his categories, which are Shadow Dragon Saga. Actually, hold on, let me pull it up. So this Gogeta. So this Gogeta is on Shadow Dragon Saga. He's on Kamehameha. He's on Fusions, and I believe he's on Final Trump Card. And those are the only categories he's on. So if we take a look at all the super battle road stages that those categories are for, I believe they all have instances of having 4 or more enemies. So there's a lot of use you could get out of that passive. Even like the super attack stage, or sorry, this guy would be int. So like the super int stage of Extreme Super Battle Road, you could easily have 3 fights where you're fighting 4 or more enemies. You could have like the Ginyu Force stage as a second fight. You could have the Turles or Cooler as the third fight, and the last one you could have like Bojack. So there's a lot of instances where this could come into play. But it's not meant to be like, every single time this guy's in the field, he's doing this, because this is super powerful. So that's why I did it that way. And then finally, we have the active skill, and I believe this is where this unit is going to find most of his value. So the active skill is Untouchable Blur, and then this line I actually went ahead and watched the fight against Omega Shenron, and this is literally the line that he used, which I think would be cool if they put that in. So conditions for this are able to be used if the enemy is attacking 4 or more times. I guess I should put in the turn. So again, very easy to activate in Super Battle Road. In Super Battle Road, you literally get attacked like 6-7 times in a turn, so you're easily going to be able to activate this probably turn 1 every single time. And you can use it a max of 2 times, which means that, you know, same exact thing as the LR Turles that just came out, where he's able to use his active skill twice. And the effect is he reveals the location of enemy super attacks for 2 turns, so that's already very, very powerful. And he gains a high chance of evading enemy's super attack and counter with tremendous power for 1 turn. Yeah, so this is like me combining like the 2 most overpowered abilities in the game, where not only can you counter supers, but you see where the supers are. So if you can do that, you pretty much can't get hurt unless, for example, like obviously he doesn't counter the super. So a high chance, this would be the same chance that the tech one has, which is a 70% chance. So usually high chances are 50%, but in this case, this guy, it even says in his passive, high chance of evading enemy's super attack and countering with tremendous power. So even though this says high chance, which is again is typically 50%, this effect is 70%. So I'm building this new unit's active skill to also be 70%. So basically, he reveals the location of enemy super attacks for 2 turns, and he gets a 70% chance of evading enemy super attacks and countering with tremendous power for that turn he used the active skill. So I think this combined with this passive, where he already has like 1,000,000 defense and 1,000,000 attack stats and all this stuff, plus he also has this. I do think, and also don't forget, if he launches a super attack before countering, he's going to have an extra 15% chance to crit. If he doubles supers, he's going to have a 30% chance to crit. So I think all this stuff builds well together. And I think this would be one of the better active skills in the game. You know, I'm actually... Maybe this should only be once in terms of balance. I don't know. For balance, it's hard to tell before, you know, if you're not playtesting with the unit, it's hard to tell exactly what the number should look like for balance purposes, but maybe this should be once because this is just very powerful. I don't know. But that's the active skill. And then just going through the links quickly. Super Saiyan Kamehameha, Shocking Speed, Over to Flash, Fuse Fighter, GT, Perfect Battle. Exactly the same links as this guy. If they did want to go down the path of actually making the Super Saiyan 4 category like an actual thing, the one thing I could see them doing is maybe they remove one of these links for Saiyan Roar. Because if you have a full Super Saiyan 4 team, the only unit that's not going to have Saiyan Roar is pretty much this Gogeta. Because, I mean, I remember when this guy came out, the tech one, and people were very surprised that he did not have Saiyan Roar. So I think if they were to, going to remove one of these links, unfortunately, I think it would probably be Shocking Speed, because Super Saiyan, he has to have that. Kamehameha, he does the Kamehameha, so he probably has to have that. Unless they change the super attack to not be the Big Bang Kamehameha and they did something else, then they could obviously make Saiyan Roar instead of Kamehameha, which would be a huge W if they did that. Like this guy's link set would be insane if they did that. But if they kept the Big Bang Kamehameha, he would have to have this. Over to Flash, I don't see them getting rid of that. Fuse Fighter has to have it, GT has to have that, and obviously Fierce Battle. So the only link I could really see them getting rid of if he had the Big Bang Kamehameha as a super attack is Shocking Speed. So I would actually take that. I would take Saiyan Roar over Shocking Speed. I think this guy having Over to Flash already is probably good enough for a key link. Plus GT. If you're going to have Super Saiyan 4s, like a full team of Super Saiyan 4s, GT and Over to Flash are probably good enough. But yeah, I think that's fine. And then finally, we have the categories exactly the same 4 that I was talking about earlier. And then depending on if they want to go down the path of having a leader skill buff Super Saiyan 4 or not, that's why this is in parentheses. So if they wanted to go down, you know, the hero's quote unquote path of setting this guy up to be like the mainstay of like the hero's Super Saiyan 4's team or whatever they want to call it, then Super Saiyan 4 category for sure would also be added here. But yeah, the other 4 categories I think are just pretty set in stone at this point because it's literally the exact same categories that this guy has over here already. So that is my concept for Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Again, I think he's going to be int type. Even the fusion category probably could use a new int type. You know, let's actually go ahead and look at that real quick before we end. So categories, fusion. Let's make sure we have JP on. So the only notable int-type fusion category units are obviously the Go tanks that we're about to get on Global, and that's pretty much it. And then this guy who just got an easy A. So this category could also use a very, very powerful int-type unit as well. So I think int is actually a pretty safe option here for this guy. And then the passive, again, it's not the most, sexy, I guess, passive ever, but it does get the job done, and it also synergizes very well with the active skill, which I basically tried to build this guy around its active skill, because I think this is what makes this unit unique. And the fact that the conditions are unique, right? The conditions, it's not like, 50% or more health or 3 turns passed. I think this is a good condition to have for this guy. And this is just like one of the most powerful effects in the game right here. So that's my concept. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below if you have any suggestions or things that you thought of for this unit that could be coming out in the next week or so. And with that, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.